one talented man to another, representing the River Club here tonight. You all know who I mean now by now, I'm sure. So put your hands together and please, the best of order once again. We have 3 more acts. Representing the River Club, the man himself, Mr. Aussie Bryson.
First wee piece I'm going to do for you is something I've never done on a back-to-back before. It's a wee tale, you could say probably a wee tale of loneliness. It embraces or brings in the 4 provinces of our beloved country here. It's called The 4 Fairlies, and it's written by Percy French, that man who wrote the songs like The Mountains of Mourne and Cutting the Corn and Saturday and all that sort of stuff. The 4 Fairlies by Percy French. In a small hotel in London, I was sitting down to dine, when the waiter brought the register and asked me if I'd sign, and as I signed I saw a name that set my heart astir. A certain Francis Farrelly had signed the register. Now, I knew a lot of Farrellys, and out of all that crew I kept on sort of wondering, which Farrelly were you? So when I finished dinner I sat back in my chair, going round my native land to find which Farrelly you were. Although the keen-eyed Kerryman I met below Kenmare, who told me that when Ireland fought, the odds were never fair. If Cromwell had met Sarsfield on Met O'Neill O'Neill, it's not to Mr. Gladstone we'd be looking for appeal. Would of Ireland for the Irish, not a Saxon to be seen, and only Gaelic spoken in that house in College Green, told me landlords were the devil. Their raging's 10 times worse, and every sort of government for Ireland was a curse. Oh, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your dream has not come true, but slant ya, Francine, slant ya, for I like a man like you by. Or, were you the Francie Farrelly that often used to say he'd like to drive them papishes from Derry walls away? The boy that used to bother me that Orange Lodge to join and thought that history started with the Battle of the Boyne. now I was not all with you, Francie. Now the Pope is not my friend, but still, poor man, I hope he'll die without that bloody end. And when you're cut from Kerry yourself and get to Kingdom Come, well, there's no use giving you a harp. You'll bet an orange throne. Oh man, you were a fighter. Of that I have no doubt, for I seen you one night in Belfast when the Antrim Road was out. And many's a time that evening I thought that you were dead. The way them papish paving stones was happen at your head. If you're that Francie Farrelly that comes from North Tyrone, well, here's looking to you, Francie, but now leave the Pope alone. Or you, the Francis Farrelly that in my college days, for strolling on the Kingstown Pier, had such a curious craze. Do you mind them lovely sisters, the blonde and the brunette? I know I've not forgotten, and I don't think you forget that picnic on the Donegal, and the other at the Scalp. How my heart was palpitating. Hers wasn't, not a palp. Someone said you married money and maybe you were wise, but the gold you loved was in her hair and the diamonds in her eyes. But I like to think you married her and that you're with her yet. It was some militia officer that married the brunette, but the blonde one always loved you, and I knew you loved her too. So me blessing on you, Francis, and the blue sky over you. Or were you the Francie Farrelly I met so long ago, in the bog below Belmullet, in the counter of Mayo? The long-legged freckled Francis with the deep-set wishful eyes that seemed to take their colour from the ever-changing skies, that put his flute together as I sketched the distant scene and played me planks to Kelly in the wakes of Inniskeen, and told me in the autumn he'd be sailing to the west, to try to make his fortune and send money for the rest. And he asked me if I'd draw for him the place where he was born, and he'd hang it up and look at it and not feel so forlorn. And when I had it finished, you got up from where you sat and you said, well, you're the devil, and I can't say more than that. Oh, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your fortune may be small, but I'm thinking, Francis, I loved you best of all. And I never can forget you, though it's been so long ago, in the bog below Belmullet, in the county of Mayo. This late hour, I hope you have a very, very good audience. I was thinking the story about wee Lizzie McCoubrey. This was a good wee while ago this happened. Wee Lizzie McCoubrey had a wee lisp. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a wee lisp. It can be very attractive, because our Minister of Education, Mary O'Rourke, has a wee lisp. As everybody knows. Everybody knows that Mary, and the gnome who appears there on Live at 3 has a wee lisp as well. But Lizzie McCoubrey had a wee lisp, and she was taking off time from the factory to get married. And after she came back from the wedding, she came back to work again, and all the girls got round Lizzie one day, and they says, God, Lizzie, tell us what it was like. Tell us what it was like on the first night. And Lizzie says, honest to God, she says, I never clothed me thighs all night. John Mahaffey's grandfather loved he was 102. But on the day of his 100th birthday, the clergyman came to visit him, and he says, Mr. Mahaffey, he says, you're 100 years old today. Isn't it marvellous? He says, you're 100 years old today. And he says, they tell me that you're in great health. Oh, I'm surely great health. And he said, I believe, he says, you haven't got one enemy in the whole parish. Isn't that amazing, 100 years old, and you haven't one enemy in the whole parish? How do you account for that? Is to see, well, I'll tell you, Reverend, to see, I outlove the bastards. He used to go down to the pub every night, and he was drinking away at the pints every night. You see, and one of the boys on holidays one day, he says, I say, Grandad, he says, you're pretty old. He says, I'm 90. And he says, I see you in here every night. He says, you must drink a lot. No, I see, I spill the most out. Our next little piece of nonsense goes back a long way. This was written as well by Percy French. He wrote this, and it brings me back, and it'll bring you, some of the older people of you who used to go to the races in Carricklee every St. Patrick's Day. He wrote this piece, and he called it Carmody's Mare by Percy French. And with your permission, and with Pat's permission here, I'm going to dispense with the microphone, because when it gets to the road when you go to the races. Carmody's Mare by Percy French. bell ringing. The numbers is up. Oh dear, I must see this race for the cup. Move up in that plank there. Hey, give me a hand. Oh man, this is better than any grandstand. Mind you, there's high flyers paying a shilling and two that hasn't a half nor a quarter of the view. Hey Peter, me Ginty, me son, come up here and see this big race being run. No, not room for another. Now do be civil. Come up here, me Ginty, and you to the devil. Look Peter, from here you can see the whole course. Hi, call up a policeman. Call up the whole force. There's the bank and the hurdles, and there's the stone wall, and there's the big water jump. Best of them all. Who am I backing? Well, now I declare I've put all my money on Carmody's mare. Last night it was Carmody gave me the tip. Look, you'll be over the side if you give it a lap. He told me the ring mare was at him again. They pulled the bay mare, but he's riding they won. £50 if he pulled her. And that's what they said. And the Queen of the May coming round home and scared. But he'll not take their money. He means to ride fair. And that's why my money's on Carmody's mare. Oh, there's Carmody galloping down on the bay. Oh, there's Dempsey the robber on Queen of the May. Oh, there's Flynn on the Firefly and Burke and Red Fox. They're banging on merry legs. See the white socks. There's Sweeney on Swan Shot and Major Tom Goff. He's lining them up. Look, will you sit down in front there? Well, take off that hat. Jesus, I'll take off your head if you give me. Where is he now, Peter? Well, up at the front. Oh, don't say that's him at the heels of the hunt. Up now, sure, I know why he's howling around. You're going too fast at that bank, Mr. Flynn. Didn't you know that left was too wide? No sensible horse will take that this stride. But look at Carmody. Carmody knows. Up and go lightly, and over she goes. What's it you said there? Heavens above. Was there ever a race where a man didn't show? I'm far laughing behind to you. That'll I care, as long as Ned Carmody sticks to his mare. Where is it, Peter? The hurdles. Well done. Now you see him off like a shot from a gun. Look, will you sit down in front there? I must see this race. Yes, you want the contents of my first year. Where is he now, Peter? On the stone wall. Oh, Mr. Sweeney, you're out of it all. Don't let a race at a keeper in check, or you'll break her two legs in your own bloody neck. But look at Carmody, sensible chap. Look at him going or flung in the gap. What did you say there? What did you say? The race is immortal for Queen of the May. Oh, be dad, look at her sailing away. Carmody, left out the bay. Bustler, drive her across. It's the May mare that's on the it isn't an ass. Slachter her unto her now. It's the May mare that's on the it isn't a cow. Down for the water jump. Down for the water jump. Grip for your thighs. Raise the mare over. Down for the two of them into the stick. Carmody gains and the whiskey grit. Down for a touch of the spur and the flank. Jeez, do you think of Felicia last story? Would you go home and take care of your ones? £1,000 level if Carmody wins. Didn't I tell you, you iron calf? Carmody wins by a length and a half. Didn't I tell you, Peter, my son? Carmody wins and I got 5-1. And now, my good people, I'm just going down to the bookies to get me half crown.
What can you say about that man, a very, very talented man, Mr. Aussie Bryson?
This is the day in the life of a Donegal man. I got up this morning in the Rosses. I looked out the window. Nice day for cutting turf. I went round to the shed at the back of the house to get the turf spade. The door was broke, no turf spade. So I went into the house, I put on the good suit with the white bottoms, and the fair ale fell over and the waistbearing. And I took the bass and it down low. When I got off the bass, I went into Beatty's and I had 3 vodkas and 3 bottles of Smatax. I left Beatty's, I went over to the Cope. I says to the girl in the Cope, have you a turf spade? She says, fat kind of turf spade, do you want it? And I says, one for cutting turf. She brought me a turf spade. I says, much is that? She says 7 and 6. And I bought it off her for 6 shillings. And then I was thinking on the shed door broke. And I says to the girl, I want a half a pound of nails. She says, how long do you want them? And I says, I want to keep them. When I was coming out the Cope, I looked in the window and I seen this black rally bicycle. I says to Jim the Cope, what do you want for the black rally bicycle? He says 12 pound, and I bought it off him for 11. And he threw in a white pump. I tied the turf spade to the bicycle, I went down the street, and I went into Beatty's, and I had 3 more vodkas and 3 more bottles of Smatax. And when I came out again, there was the black rally bicycle with the white pump and the turf spade tied to it, for I left it up against the wall, gone. I went up to the guards' barracks. The sergeant says, what's the matter? And I says to the sergeant, she's Christ. I got up this morning in the Rosses. I looked out the window. Nice day for cutting turf. I went round to the shed at the back of the house to get the turf spade. The door was broke, no turf spade. So I went into the house, I put on the good suit with the white bottoms and the fair ale over and the waistbearing, and I took the bass at the Donegal. When I got off the bus, I went over to Beatty's and I had 3 vodkas and 3 bottles of Smatax. I went over to the Cope and I bought a turf spade for 6 shillings and a black rally bicycle and a white pump for 11 pounds. I went down to Beatty's, I had 3 more vodkas and 3 more bottles of Smatax. And when I came out again, there they were, for I left them up against the wall, gone. The sergeant says, have you the number of the bicycle? And I says, she's Christ, sergeant. Whoever took the bicycle took the number and all. I was getting no help there. So I went down to Beatty's and I had 3 more vodkas and 3 more. And I says to myself, how I faced the wife with no turf spade, no bicycle and very little money. So I took the bus up to Larne. I got the ferry across to Stranraer. I took the train into Glasgow, and when I got to Glasgow there was no work. So I took the train down to London, and when I was coming out of Euston Street Station in London, I met this big black girl coming down the street, and her all rings and jewellery, and not much else. And she was giving me the bad thoughts. And I was thinking on the day that I went to Father McGrotty to confession, and he says to me, for your penance, say 3 Hail Marys. And I says, Jesus Christ, Father, I only know the one. The big black she says to me, "Hello, Paddy." Jesus Christ, how'd she know I was Paddy? One day I was talking to Patrick Johnny Francie, and I says to Patrick Johnny Francie, "Is sex dirty?" And Patrick Johnny Francie says, "It has, if it's done right." The big black gal, she says to me, "How'd you like to come home with me tonight, Paddy?" And I says to her, "Jesus Christ, Mass. I got up this morning in the Rosses. I looked out the window. Nice day for cutting turf. I went round to the shed at the back of the house to get the turf spade. The door was broke, no turf spade. So I went into the house, I put on the good suit with the white bottoms and the fair ankle over and the white berry, and I took the bus into Dunlow. Then I got off the bus, I went into Beatty's and I had 3 vodkas and 3 bottles of Smartax. I left Beatty's, I went over to the Coop and I bought a turf spade and a black rally bicycle and a white pump. I left them outside Beatty's, and when I came out again, they were gone. So I took the bus up to Larne. I got the ferry across to Stranraer. I took the train into Glasgow, and when I got to Glasgow, there was no work. So I took the train down to London, and here I am tonight, coming out of Euston Street Station in London. And you want me to go home with you to Africa?